Good morning, everybody. In Uganda, we say, Ebanange. Good morning, everybody. I want it to be louder. It's a happy day. It's 20 years of AFNOG. Good morning, everybody. That's better. Okay, my name is Badru Ntege. I don't know which hat I'm wearing now, but I'll figure out which one later. Yesterday, I was standing here and I kind of lost my words because the room was full. I wanted to tell the minister, these are my people. But now I can say you're all my people, and thank you so much for being here. This is AFnog-day. We do this every year, and we've done it for 20 years. And I'm very proud to have been part of that journey. And I'm seeing a lot more people who are joining that journey and people who are going to come back in that journey. Is Brian in the room? Brian Masiga. Okay, he's not here yet. We had an interesting conversation yesterday on Techie Speak. Okay, let's start. I would like to ask our convener, Dr. Nick Kwena. I met Dr. Nee 18 years ago. His hair was not gray. And Dr. Nee told me, you're now part of AFNOG. That was in 2003. And we're still here, 18 years later for us, and AFNOG is back in Kampala. I would like Noah Maina. Okay. Maybe we'll just change it a little bit. Doc, just say a few words. Off script, on script, whatever.
Always on script. Thank you very much, Andrew, for having been a good friend throughout all these years. We have some beautiful things planned, goodwill messages coming from all over. But let's start by me sharing a few things about our journey. But AFNOG, AFNOG, we usually do this with Afrinic, so we'll do the Afrinic one also. Afrinic. Afrinic. Thank you very much. After 20 years of hard work, we have come again. It is obvious to me that we believe in what we are doing so much that we keep coming in spite of whatever difficulties we faced. Working in an emerging internet economy is difficult. And in Africa, we faced many challenges, but we still kept trying. There were numerous barriers. There was pain, but we still kept going forward. Sometimes we come close to giving up, but we did not. Sometimes it seemed we were about to implode, but miraculously we gained strength and overcome. Sometimes it felt lonely and impossible, but we found a friend on the way who got us courage to continue. It must be a good cause, and I urge you to continue the journey of connecting the next billion to the internet in the next decade. Look around you and you will notice the global community is with us and has always been with us, urging us on not to despair. I think at this point, we should shake each other's hand, hug someone next to you, and congratulate each other for such an admirable success. So please shake somebody's hand. Please, let's. We are a good community and will remain that way. As you know, as I said yesterday, for some of you who are here, I used to move packets, but these days I prefer to move good emotion. And I'd like you all to do the same. We will move on to the next segment, but I will make the following comments. From now on, please learn to dismiss negative vibes and embrace on the positives as we soldier on in the next decade. A community with determination and goodwill will always succeed. I have received some goodwill messages in video that I would like to share from friends all around the world. We have very good friends and we cannot let them down. We want to help ourselves and we will continue to succeed. The first video we'll share is from a partner from the beginning in 2000. Some of you may remember the big books that we used to have, that we used to keep, treasure them. We don't even want to share them. They've played a very important role in the first connections of internet on the continent, and they have been active in the research and education community since the beginning. Let's watch a video from the NSRC group.
Hello, I'm Steve Huter, Director of the Network Startup Resource Center, and I'm really sorry I can't be with all of you for AFNOG's 20th celebration. I was there at the first one and many years thereafter, and missing my dear friends Nee and Nancy and the wonderful instructor crew, and just want to take a moment to wish all of you a fabulous event in Kampala. Enjoy your time working with the Research of Education Network community of Uganda, and we look forward to hearing good news about the great success of the event.
And I'm Kevin Murray, a technical instructor with Network Startup Resource Center, but I work at the University of Oregon as well. And I'm really so sorry that I could not join you for this amazing event. 20th year, this is incredible. But we are hoping and we're wishing you very well, and I know you will not let us down, because there are millions of devices that everybody carries them. They need connectivity. Thank you very much.
So you're absolutely right. Hi, I'm Vince Cerf. I'm Google's Vice President and Chief Internet Evangelist. I'm here at NSRC, very excited about wishing you all a 20th anniversary. I just can't quite believe 2 decades have gone by since the time that I met with you when the first of the AFNOG meetings started. So I wish you every success. I hope to see the next 20 years even more successful than the last.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harvey Allen. I'm the Assistant Director at the Network Startup Resource Center. And I'm really sorry I'm not there as well. I, too, was at the first AFNOG. Some of you might notice some gray hairs. It's been going on for a while, which is a true testament to its success. And I know everybody's going to do great like every single year. I wish you all of the success for this event. And I really do hope to see you all soon in the future or on the net.
So the call for AFNOG is AFNOG, and then say success. AFNOG, success. Yes!
Of course, as they say in Klingon, kapla.
Kapla.
Have a great event. Have a great event.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you. Well, let's give them a hand. As you can see, we have very good friends, and we thank them very much for all the support that they have given us so far. And I think you got a message. We cannot let them down. And anyone who tries, trust me, we will not accept. Let me just start next set of goodwill messages. This one is from someone who is a research and education champion, has been pushing to get the continent network operators for research going. He's also been part of the .SN group or team, and he's a strong believer in the relationship between operator group community and research and education capacity building. Let's hear from Dr. Boubacar Barry.
Dear friends, I'm really sorry I cannot be in Kampala to celebrate with you the 20th anniversary of a great African organization, AFNOG. It's just because I am on another assignment with my fellow CEOs of ASREN and the Open Internet Alliance. We would have loved to be with you in Kampala in this historic moment. In its 20 years of existence, AFNOG has incubated and supported many IF star network operators, communities, including AFREN. And the motto and the spirit have always been self-inclusiveness, collaboration, and organic growth. Among the thousands and thousands of African engineers who have been trained by AFNOG and the country NOGs, many of them are from the education and research community. Today, hundreds, if not thousands of them, are designing, deploying, and operating campus networks, as well as national and regional research and education networks. So kudos and a big thank you to AFNOG. AFNOG,
Success.
AFNOG, AFREN, thank
Connected.
you and enjoy the celebration in Kampala.
Thank you. At least you see a different message. We thank Dr. Barry for championing the research and education network. Importance of rents are very important for us, and education is part of our goals in development. The next goodwill message is from another very good friend of this community. He's a strong believer in internet in Africa. And he said, and he was, in fact, at the first AFNOG in Cape Town in 2000. He was a key party to convincing a skeptical community to stay together and work towards internet in Africa. Please listen to Dr. Vince Cerf.
Hello, my name is Vince Cerf. I'm Google's chief internet evangelist. And it's a real pleasure to have an opportunity to say hello to my friends at AFNOG. I really apologize. Nee Hoyner was so kind to invite me to participate. Unfortunately, my 2019 calendar was conflicting and I wasn't able to come to join you in person. But as you all may know, I'm very, very interested in the futures of internet in Africa and the role that AFNOG plays. You're in Kampala, Uganda, and I think you're aware that Google has made some investment there in infrastructure, specifically optical fiber networks. There's a joint venture which was created called C², which continues the work both in Uganda and in other parts of Africa. So we have a significant investment in African infrastructure, and we expect to continue making those investments as time continues. In the meanwhile, I suspect you all have a great deal of work to do. The internet access in Africa continues to grow. There are more cable landings bringing high capacity to the continent, and then of course build out into the interior. with the addition of potential very large-scale low Earth and very low Earth orbiting satellites, the numbers are in the tens of thousands, perhaps 15 to even maybe 20,000 anticipated, or at least proposed. There won't be any place on Earth where you can escape potential access to the internet, which of course will put you all to even more work than ever. So I'm very interested to hear what happens at AFNOG. I hope that NIE will take a moment to summarize the results of the meeting. And meanwhile, let me encourage every one of you to continue the work that you've been doing. Please bring this capability to the rest of the continent. And since I won't see you in person, at least on this trip, perhaps we'll meet each other on the net.
Well,
Hello, I'm Steve Huter, Director of the Network.
Well, he says we cannot escape. So let's not even try to escape. Let's embrace it and move on. Vint has been really pivotal in internet in Africa, and he continues to be with us in all ways. The next is from one who encouraged us to solve a real problem we faced in the development of internet in the region. We were to address the issue of women engineers. And this person was very instrumental in encouraging us to advance in that direction. So shall we listen to Lynn Saintamore?
Hi. For those who don't know me, my name is Lynn Saintamore, and I was the Internet Society President and CEO from 2001 to early 2014, having joined ISOC in 1998. Currently, I am chair of the United Nations Internet Governance Forum Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, or IGF-MAG. More importantly, I am honored to be able to congratulate all those who have made AFNOG such a success, and especially to congratulate Chris Pinkman and Nick Quater, two African internet pioneers who, along with Randy Bush, conceived of AFNOG. Chris and Ni's impact extends well beyond the African continent, and Randy's extends well into it. So surely this is a sign of a successful partnership. Over 20 years ago, in my early days with ISOC, I traveled to many African countries and events. And one of the more memorable, and one that made a tremendous impact on me, was the 5th AFNOG in 2004 in Dakar. AFNOG has not only trained over 10,000 engineers, which is a tremendous accomplishment, but it has also transformed the internet ecosystem in Africa through support to, or incubation efforts for, multiple regional internet organizations, such as AFRINIC, AFTLD, AFREN, AfricaCert, AFNOG-CHIC, and others.
Am I done? Okay. All right. Well, let's give her a hand. The next is from someone who always urged us on, especially in difficult times when even governments were being very difficult with our internet development. He found a way to keep the government's interests with us, as well as advancing the thinking on multi-stakeholder approach to things. He is known as Mr. RFC1 and was in fact the first chairman of ICANN that was elected on the African soil. He was elected in Dakar. Let's listen to Dr. Steve Crocker.
Hi there, my name is Steve Crocker. Thanks for inviting me to help you celebrate the 20th anniversary of AFNOG. Definitely a worthy event. When I first worked on the ARPANET more than 50 years ago, I thought it was an intriguing technical challenge. It quickly became clear The technical challenges were just one part. Networks bring people together. Networks build communities, and communities build strength, economic progress, and education. AFNOG is a premier example. Networks are not just about connectivity, although that is obviously important. Networks bring people together, and AFNOG has been a fundamental force in the development of both the technical and the people networks of Africa. I've gotten the pleasure of visiting Africa several times and have gotten to know some of the outstanding leaders. Nee Quainer is a giant. In addition to his many achievements, he mentored and sponsored many. Everyone in Africa knows and reveres Nee. Alongside Nee are many other pioneers: Chris Pinkham, Alain Aina, Adiel Aklogan, Alan Barrett, Sunday Fulliam, and Nancy Dotsey. From outside Africa, Randy Bush, Geerten de Groot, Joan Scott, and Steve Hooter have played important and continuing roles, and I'm sure I have left out many that should be mentioned. The African People Network is not just limited to Africa. It's worldwide. As with any NOG, AFNOG is organized around network operators and their operational concerns, but quickly expanded to include training and security. I'm told 10,000 engineers have been trained. 10,000. The impact is enormous. The frontier of networking these days are the Internet of Things and, alas, continuing focus on security. AFNOG continues to be the place to come, to learn, to teach, and, of course, to network. Congratulations on your 20th anniversary. Have a great meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The next video is from another very good friend of mine, and he pushed me a lot. He's actually father of some of the AF stars here, Africa Set in particular. He's a great research and education network connector and a force in Asia-Africa Alliance with Africa. Let's hear Kilnam Chong.
Hello, this is Kilnam Chong. Congratulations for the AFNOG 20 years anniversary. I still remember I talked to the Dr. Nee Quainer about some 20-some years ago. He was looking for the AFNOG to set up. That's the time we just set up the apricot Asia Pacific version of AFNOG. And we were still struggling. And I said, hey, you are very ambitious. And now, 20 years later, it's a Africa Internet Summit. And I look at the program, it's very good, very impressive, covering so many areas. And so that I see the evolution of AFNOG and Asia Africa Internet Summit in last 20 years. And I really like it. And I attend the this summit about three times. So I'm looking for participation sometime soon. And by looking at the program, one thing let me suggest you. Would you like to add the AI, in particular Internet AI? That's how we are going to start up AI in many countries. So the people in the Internet community is just ready. Just add one more factor, then you can get into the Internet AI. That's my recommendation. And I hope we can have a good collaboration in coming years. Thank you. Have a nice 20 years anniversary of Africa Internet Summit, including AFNOG. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think their messages tell it all. But I want to invite two persons in the room. They may not know that I'm going to invite them, but I hope they will come. And each of them give a brief goodwill. The first one is Alan Barrett, and Adiel Aklogan come at the same time. Adiel, Alan.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I have not prepared anything because this guy sprung a surprise on me, but that's okay. I can usually think of things to say. Yeah, I was part of the first AFNOG in 2000, and here Dr. Queno and Randy Bush approached me, and Chris Pinkham, who I was working with at the time, and several others to help organize the very first AFNOG. And the company I was at the time, Securix Technologies, we hosted it in Cape Town in 2000. And some of the people we see at this table were there. Ideal, I think you were there. Nee, you were definitely there. I was there. I've been an instructor with AFNOG for many years, and for a long time, the highlight of my year was coming to the AFNOG meetings and teaching, and also the great fun setting things up before the workshop. I think we may hear more about that from somebody else later this morning. AFNOG was also instrumental in forming AFRINIC. Around the same time as we were starting AFNOG, we also started thinking about forming AFRINIC, but that took longer. To create AFNOG from the idea until the first meeting took less than a year. But to create AFRINIC from the idea until when it was really fully operational took 6 years, maybe, around about. And during that time, at the AFNOG meetings, there would always be some time, maybe half a day, dedicated to discussion of what AFRINIC would do after it was formed. So to get people used to the idea that AFRINIC should be created. And so I would like to thank AFNOG for helping to form AFRINIC. And it's really great to see so many people here. You know, when we first started, it was much smaller, and it's grown, and it's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. I think it's an honor always to be here, but specifically after 20 years, being at the first AFNOG meeting and seeing what has been achieved over those past 20 years is very encouraging, and actually give us hope that with determination, persistence, we can achieve a lot. I think AFNOG has helped not only share awareness, share knowledge, but also it has helped build a very strong network of experts and technical engineers around the continent. And it's very, I would say, encouraging for someone like me to see that we have been able, despite our difference, despite our challenges, despite the fact that we live in a continent that is an emerging continent, we have been able to sustain an organization like AFNOG over the past 20 years, despite all those challenges, and make it grow. When AFNOG started, it was only 3 workshops. Today, we have 7 workshops. We have a lot of tutorial, and we have new one coming every day. That means the system is working. The system is growing and addressing some of the new challenges that we have. Dr. Kilnam talked about AI a few minutes ago. We have IoT, we have blockchains, we have new technology and usage of the internet that are coming. And we need to embrace those as well to do what? To solve some concrete problem and issue that we face in the region. So I wish I could AFNOG more success. I want us 20 years down the road again to be here talking about new success, talking about how this group, this community has helped Africa to put its foot into some new technology to solve our issue. Thank you very much, Doc, for all your support.
Well, let's just find out which identifiable groups are here. Who were the first AFNOG participants? If any of them is here, I'd like them to stand up so we can at least honor them. First first participants, instructors, everybody. Get John. Yeah. No, you were participating. We all participated. Yeah. Ah, you can see. The moon at the back. Yeah. Okay. Guys, we really respect you very much. We thank you very, very much. First AFNOG instructors. First AFNOG instructors. Alan. Alan Barrett. Okay, John. You are in multiple sets. Let's see now. Participants who have become instructors over the 20 years. Those who were once participants but grew to become instructors. Now you can see. Ah, Patrick, yes. Okay. So we have a natural way of regenerating ourselves, and I think it's good to see that as well. There may be some first-time participants. I'd like them to also start and join in our 20th celebration. First time, if this is your first time of coming to AFNOG, please stand up. Let's see you. And thank you very much. But keep coming. This for us is a pilgrimage. Current instructors. Who are the current instructors? You can stand. Uli. Yeah, there you go. Current instructors. There you go. We really, really appreciate your volunteer spirit. Sacrifice your time to help us grow. Initial secretariat. Are any of the folks here? Oh, Nancy, okay. Thank you. I think you remembered Joan Scott was mentioned and Alan Mirembe. Those were the initial secretariat. Thank you very much. And current secretariat. The current secretariat, if you are here, please, let's see you. Thank you. Now, we have a particular group among us that we treasure so much, and we refer to them as AFNOG Chicks. So the AFNOG Chicks folks, if you are here, please stand up. Let's see you. You are the only group that is being called. Let's see you, please. So you can see we are not alone. It's not only guys here. Thank you very much. Okay, we are now due to hear a brief short story on the 20-year journey, and that will be done by Noah. So, Noah, let's give him a hand.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. My name is Noah Maina. I volunteer with AFNOG as an instructor, and I also chair the program committee. But I work with an organization called CCOM, and we've been the ones providing internet connectivity for the event. I'm just going to basically take us through, take us through the 20 years of AFNOG. Is this thing working? Okay. Okay. I'm going to quickly take us through the 20 years of AFNOG by sharing a few pictures and stories so that we basically have an idea of the entire journey in the past 20 years. So, like the folks you've seen come here, Alan, Dr. Nee, Steve was speaking in the video, Randy Bush. Of course, when the internet happened back in the early 1990s, there was need to build capacity, okay, across the entire world. And for the case of Africa, a few friends came together, as you can see in the picture, and decided to, volunteer and start AFNOG so that it would then be the driving force behind capacity building in terms of engineering, internet engineering, human capital in the continent. So AFNOG happened, and then 2 tracks basically were introduced at the time. The first track was the scalable internet services, which basically looked at systems in terms of DNS, email, and all that stuff. And then the second track was the scalable network infrastructure, basically the network in the infrastructure itself. So these were the initial 2 tracks at the time. And the participation, as you can see at the time, you'll see there are some familiar faces there. Sande Folayani, you'll see Brian, Adiel, Aite, Alan Barrett, Bill Sangiwa, Hajan, and many others in that picture. So it's basically a combination of both students and instructors at the time. This was in Cape Town in the year 2000, and AFNOG was basically born during this event. Of course, the number of students were small at the time. Of course, some of you might see some familiar faces. If you recognize there's somebody smiling there, that's Michuki. He was a student at the time. You all know Michuki. You can see he was a very small man. These days he's gained some weight. There's Brian Longwe there. And, they are all smiling. Aisa too. If you see there is a female there, there is, of course, Abba also there smiling. And, with everything, you always have to plant a seed. And then from there, a tree can grow. The number of instructors was small. You can see the computers back in the days. These days, we walk around with small laptops, running around. But back in the days, you can see the computers were big. The number of instructors were small. You can see Steve, Dr. Nee, Harvey is there, and another, those other instructors, I've forgotten the names. But essentially, the team was small at the time. Of course, those were some of the instructors. If you have noticed, there's somebody behind there. That is Patrick Okui. And then there's, of course, Alain and Aite and Brian and, sorry? Yeah, from Mauritius, yes. So, the whole AFNOG agenda or the whole AFNOG initiative started to grow slowly by slowly. So 20 years, fast tracking 20 years after, from the 2 tracks, now we have over, 8 tracks in different languages, because diversity also became something that was important. So now we run tracks in English and French. Some of these tracks were introduced later on, the advanced routing track, the computer emergency response team, which is the CERT track for cybersecurity, network monitoring and management, of course, the NMF, which is the network monitoring for the French track, and then scalable network infrastructure, the scalable internet infrastructure also has a French version, and then, of course, the scalable internet services. So what this shows is there's been a growth. There's been, of course, an increase in the number of tracks, with the need and diversity as central to the expansion of these tracks. The other thing from this picture is that, considering the original picture, which was a couple of people, now you can see the participation has grown. There are more people, more students, more instructors. That is a group picture, I think, in Nairobi, where we had the AFNOG event some 2 years ago. But essentially, the seed has grown, and the tree is, continuing to produce more more leaves. The number of students, as you can see also in a class, has grown. This was an event in Kigali a few years ago, but you can see the difference that initially there were few students and now we have more students participating in this event. And you would attest even from the students who stood earlier on that there's been a growth in terms of the demand to, you know, grow more capacity across the continent. So this is basically I picked a couple of pictures from various, you know, which are just basically pictures of different instructors over the years to show the evolution from the small team to all these. I've not added, you know, there was not enough space, but there's been a lot of instructors since the year 2000. And of course, you will see that there's also diversity. We still have more women instructors involved as volunteers. And yeah, essentially the number of instructors has grown. Some of the faces there have since retired from instructing. Some of the faces there are of new instructors. I would recognize people like Philip Smith, of course, Mark Tinker, Alain, Aite, who have since, you know, retired from instructing. Sande Folayani there is Abe Bule, and then, you know, Franco Phil down there. But essentially, some have retired and some have joined the engine, and the engine continue spinning. Of course, with the new trends in technology, we are also embracing the fact that we have to adapt, otherwise we'll extinct. So we're looking at things like Internet of Things, blockchain, automation, which is a track which basically has been introduced recently through a tutorial. But of course, the idea is to expand that because you see, the thing is, you have to go with the current trends and adapt. Otherwise, you will be left behind. So we have started to consider some of these new technologies and also introducing them into the AFNOG program, so that we also, you know, explore their advantages. So central to AFNOG's basically. Central to AFNOG's mandate is, of course, the ethos, which is capacity building, like you've seen from the preceding pictures. Collaboration, that's why we are all here. Incubation, and of course, community. The community is everything to what we all do. So in terms of incubation, you heard Alan talk about the fact that AFNIC, the Regional Internet Registry itself, was incubated and was born out of the AFNOG program. We've had other AFSTA organizations like the AFREN for the Research and Education Network, the AFIX for the Internet Exchange Points, the FTLD for the domains, and AfricaSat, of course, for the cybersecurity computer emergency response team, and AFCHIX. AFCHIX is one of the most important AFSTA organization, because we've always seen that there's need for inclusion, there's need for diversity. And it was, of course, started a few years ago by some of the women who have been volunteering in the community. And the idea was to basically build engineering capital, human capital for women also, so that we can inclusively also have them as part of the African story. So we have tracks mainly being run in this AFCHIX organization, which is, of course, the network and system and security tracks. But also they also now have their own conference, which is like an AFNOG style of conference, but then it happens during the course of the week, and it attracts women in engineering, where they discuss a lot of issues. You will see on this slide I've added somebody. The reason is because he's been very supportive of this AFCHIX program, and he's in the room. I would love for him to stand up for cognizant? Yes. Thank you so much for your support and for the support of the AFCHICS program. And he will be presenting in the next session, so you'll know more about him. But thank you so much for the support. That is basically a number of women together, you know, pushing the AFCHICS agenda. This is the tech conference. I think this was in Nairobi or Senegal. Yeah. No, I think this is Nairobi. But basically, this is all AFNOG is all about: inclusiveness. It's all about, you know, diversity. AFNOG is all about incubating different, you know, interest groups within our community. Besides, of course, that, we also get involved in some community activity. In Kigali a few years ago, we embraced one of the most famous activities that happened in Rwanda called Omuganda, which is basically a community-driven event whereby everybody is involved in cleaning the environment and planting trees. So we extended the, we participate in this because it's not just about building capacity and coming here talk about policy, but we actually embrace the whole spirit of the community. And you will see that there are some familiar faces there. And this was a very fun event at the time. So the idea of community is centric to the AFNOG agenda, and we continue to do this. Of course, over the years, we've lost a few friends. I have two pictures specifically there. That is one of Abba and Sakina Deole. These were some of the people who were volunteers over the years, but we've lost them, and I thought we should also recognize them by giving them a moment of silence. Thank you. Obviously, over the years, we've had a lot of generous sponsors supporting the AFNOG and the AFSTAR organization. I've just picked a few logos to basically show that, you know, we continue getting a lot of support from the community, from various organizations. And we really thank all the sponsors over the years and the ones who will continue to support us in the future. So, of course, everything we do here has some sort of, there are people behind us, all of us being here, coordinating everything and making sure that we are all here. And this is the secretariat, the AFSTAR engine. I would love to request for Nancy and her team to come and say a few words.
Okay.
Let's clap for them, please.
Okay. Good morning and welcome once again to AFNOG 2019, our 20th anniversary of building ICT capacity in Africa. As you've already heard, AFNOG was conceived by Randy Bush of USA, Chris Pinkham of South Africa, and Nikweno of Ghana. Then AFNOG was born as a lightweight organization, with all of us donating our time yearly to support AFNOG. Charles Musisi of Uganda, Brian Longwood of Kenya, and a feisty French lady called Suzanne Drolly hosted our first preparatory meeting in Kenya in 1999. The initial AFNOG Secretariat in Cape Town, South Africa in 2000 was run by Joan Scott and assisted by Alan Mirembe of Uganda and Nancy Doche of Ghana. In 2001, suddenly, Joan Scott moved on, leaving two novices to run the Secretariat. Alan and I scratched our heads, thought hard, and decided this must work. We sometimes faltered,
improvised, and got our acts together, and we continued ever since. The current secretariat is made up of Rachel Ajati of Togo, Esther King of Gambia, Elizabeth Dake and Donna Agbo from Ghana, and Badru of Uganda. Badru is also wearing another hat as a local host this year. On site this year, however, are Elizabeth, Donna, and I. And we all do our work online, wherever anybody is in the world. The Secretariat essentially runs AFNOG from the background. We send out calls for country hosts and then recommend the selected country hosts in consultation with our co-organizers, AFNIC. Once accepted by AFNOG and AFNIC management, we make a site visit to the country and select venue, hotel, as well as negotiate prices. The Secretariat then announced a timeline for the workshop and related events. We are also involved in getting the workshop application up, reach out to instructors who will be available, and then rally around instructors across the globe to evaluate all applications received. We then offer admission to all successful applicants. We further solicit sponsorship to enable and support brilliant but needy participants and also help us organize the events. Even those who pay fees are funded as we offer discounted rates for all. The next stage is to ship our various equipment to the country hosts. We are also engaged with the country host from the date of acceptance to the event for the year ends. Then we ensure that flights are arranged for all and hotel blocked accordingly. We also run the event on site to ensure a successful event. We have successfully trained over 10,000 network engineers over the years, many of whom are now lead engineers in various ISPs, RENs, and many more. A number of the workshop participants are currently instructors in various tracks. Notably among these are Adiel Aklogan, who was a participant in 2000 and rose to become the first CEO of AFNIC. Mark Tinka was a participant in 2003 and currently the lead technical engineer in CCOM, including Noah as well at CCOM, and many, many more. Then we have Alena Ina, who was instructor in 2000 and rose to become CTO of AFNIC and now Akren. The current CEO of AFNIC, Alan Barrett, was our first local host in 2000. To us, once AFNOG, remain AFNOG for life. We are grateful to you all. We thank the conveners, Randy Bush, Chris Pinkham, and Nick Queen of Ghana for their foresight in establishing AFNOG. We had several partners and sponsors over the years, notably NSRC, ICANN, the Internet Society, University of Oregon, Cisco, World Bank, UNDP, and many more. Thank you all for believing in us and supporting us. Many thanks to our sponsors, especially our multi-year donors, i.e. ISOC, ICANN, AAU, WACREN, etc. We thank Network of the World especially for sponsoring female network engineers over the years and continue. Our gender-specific training, AFNOG Chicks, has been of tremendous help, and we are proud to say our female participation has grown from 3 in 2000 to 30% of the total population currently. To AFNIC, our sister organization and co-founders of the AIS workshop and conferences and everybody else, we say a big thank you. Many thanks to our numerous instructors over the years. We appreciate you for volunteering your time yearly to support a worthy cause. We are grateful to the various country regulators over the years, and this year Uganda Communication Commission for supporting local participants to attend the workshop and conferences. Even to those who put impediments in our way, we say thank you because you made us more determined to succeed. Thank you. It's not perfect, but we keep improving yearly. It's been a long, hard road, but we chalk some successes too. Africa is still behind, and there is still a long way to go in order to liberate ourselves technologically. Come on board and help us bridge the digital divide. It's been 20 years of building IT capacity in Africa, and I wish us all a happy 20th anniversary. Thank you. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and thank you all for supporting us over the years. Yeah, so besides the secretariat, there is another part of AFNOG which is invisible, but very, very, very strategic. Without it, the network, the infrastructure that supports instructors, the website, I mean, the internet connectivity on the ground, logistics, all that stuff would not be possible. And that is the infrastructure and logistics team. So I would like to call Gigi, Nishal, Shara, Patrick Okui, and everybody else from the infrastructure team to come and at least, you know, give us an overview of the hard work you guys always do behind the scenes. Oh, yeah, come.
I'm gonna need this for, trust me.
Are you going to speak? You need to put your slide.
Yeah, put the slides up. Huh? So, good morning. Let's try to speak in the microphone.
Patrick.
Yeah, so the rest of the setup team is sitting
Yes,
safely
Patrick
in the back.
and Sarah.
Hi, guys.
You're needed here. Don't be shy.
They don't want to come. They say they don't want to come. They've been busy work.
You wait by sitting there?
I don't mind. Anyway, let's do the presentation thing. So this talk is about building afnog networks, the networks we use for afnog. A little background. At afnog, we want to build workshops on real production-grade networks to emulate the environments we have back home. It sometimes poses a few challenges. Now, fortunately, proof of our activities in most cases has been forgotten. You will find out soon. But sometimes, so we were able to deny that, but in some cases, pictures exist. So I have to explain some of that. In any case, for some of the actions that we did and some of the actions that I will show, I will thank and apologize to past local hosts and hotels. So this is what a classroom in 2000 looked like. As you can see, it had standard old PC equipment. We would get real PCs in there. This would be a routing track. So in addition to the PC, we would have a real physical router. We would have a switch, a PC. That all had to be set up. PC would be used as a test client on the network to do tests. Setting that up was quite a challenge, required quite some logistics. I think that we would need many computers to do this, okay? So some of the problems that we encountered. This is 2001, and you can see that we're working on power issues. This was in the scalable services classroom, and because in the location we were then, we were in Accra, and sometimes the power would go down. And so we added UPS, interruptible power supplies, to the classroom. And we thought that worked well. Now in 2001, if you would need to set up a web server, it was not something you would download. You would download source code, Apache, OpenSSL, and you would compile. So one of the exercises was download this stuff and compile it. Unfortunately, that's where we failed, because while everything was working, as soon as the classroom started to type make, the energy required by the computers in the classroom would raise, and all the UPSs would go into overload. And so basically the whole classroom would shut down. And we fixed it by going to the classroom and say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then send the even people out for lunch, so the odd people could compile. And when they come back for lunch, we would switch. Just some of the tricks that we did. So this is 2002. This is in Lomé in Togo. And in Lomé, we had, at that time, there were very few tall buildings. And we were using microwave link to get our connection. The big building you see in the background is the BCTI building, which is the building of the National Bank. And all the microwave operators would put their equipment on that building without frequency coordination. So I would put my stuff up, Nee would put their stuff up, and that would interfere with me. And then Badru would put his stuff up, and it would interfere with Nee's stuff and with my stuff, and it became quite chaotic. People would add amplifiers, and everybody would be stepping on each other. Now, this posed a challenge. Getting packets from the BCTI building to us was no problem. Getting packages back, usually they were sniped by packets sent by other operators. So what we did, what we had to do, just something that we tried, is reduce the packet size, the outgoing packet size to the BCTI building to very small packets, because if they were very small packets, there was less chance they would be sniped by interference by others. There's some of the challenge that we did. We run that workshop that way for 3 weeks. Click. Oh, that's the wrong way. This one then. Ah, we're getting there. So we had more challenges in Lomé. Because we were using radio, so the antennas were on the roof. And how do we get from the roof to the floor of the hotel where the workshop was? Well, there was a cable duct, and you can't see it clearly, but this cable duct, it was not just a cable duct, it had real, live, high voltage, high amps, unshielded, unprotected power bars in there. That's why we would need to pull our cable. Okay? So, getting into this place, I don't have good pictures. I was scared. I was scared. There were people, there was actually, I asked 2 guys to stand on each side and say, okay, make sure that I have at least 4 inches while I was going through this room like that, okay? Now, the next problem was, and you can see us adapting something here, we needed to get from that room to the rest of the hotel. And the hotel said, well, you can use the cable duct, but we want that door to that dangerous place, we want to have that closed. But we needed to have our cable out. So what we did is, I took out my pocket knife. Actually, this is a color instructor. And we started sewing on the door, literally. And you can see we hacked out a piece of the door to get our cables out so we could close the thing. This is how you do networking in 2002. Okay? So, moving on, 2003, that was the previous year we were in Kampala. And that year we used VSAT. So they got a satellite dish, and we would need to put it together and then install it. Unfortunately, the satellite dish was actually not one satellite dish, but it was leftover parts from 2 or 3 satellite dishes, which did not fit. So somebody needed to climb under and put everything together with tie wraps to making a complete dish. And we spent days getting this to work. Eventually we failed, we got another dish up. We spent days trying to make this work because obviously the screws would not fit because they were not one of the same dish. In 2004, cabling issues. Actually, the hotel, this was not one hotel, we had 2 hotels. The hotel consisted of 2 places. One where the conference was going to be, and obviously the other building was where the telephone exchange was. That's where our connectivity would come from. Rest assured, not a problem. These 2 buildings, there was a cable between those 2 buildings. Unfortunately, the cable that was in the ground between the 2 buildings had leaked water, and there was a lot of crosstalk, there was a lot of interference. You could not make a telephone conversation from one building to the next building because of the interference on the cable. And we would need to use that cable to get the internet from the building where the telephone exchange was to where our conference was. So that was never going to work. So what we did is we implemented something new, Cat5 cable in palm trees. We used the palm trees between the buildings to get the cable from one place to the next, and that's how we got our connectivity for the event. You can see some examples here. We not only fix networks, we also fix other things, and I hope the picture is big enough. If something you should know, the the AFNOG logo changes every year because the country, we have the map of Africa, and the countries where we have been, we make them green. And the country that we are currently at, we make it yellow, but the countries we have been, we make them green. And if you, this was in 2005, and if you look closely, you see an error here. Because, well, Ghana is green, Togo was not. And Togo was in 2002, that was bad. So we didn't recognize it. Actually, that was not a big problem. The good news was this banner was not printed, but was stickered, used stickers on a piece of vinyl. So what we did is we took a comma of the text of the banner, cut it into the shape of Togo and put it in place. And you see the prune and graft here. The comma is missing, but Lomé is there. So just one of the examples that we did. Another thing we needed to do in 2005, we were in a very nice teaching building. And they had projection screens and they were hung up very high, and there was supposed to be a tool to get them down, but the tool had been long gone, so we couldn't. And so we couldn't reach to get the screens down. So what you actually see here is a couple of tie wraps we put together to get the lanyard to get the screens down. So just with one example of some stuff that we need to do. If we build classrooms, this is 2006, this is Kenya. If we build classrooms, we want to make sure that people don't trip over cables. So we do quite a decent cabling job. This is a typical example of the cabling job that we do to get a classroom. And we need to do more. You see me fixing the hotel network, the hotel cabling, because that was often broken. We often had to spend many hours to get points that would work. In 2006, we had another problem, and I hope you can read what it says. The screen, actually you can't, I will read it out. So we got the equipment that we used in classroom was equipment that was donated to Africa. What they had said they sent were computers. What they actually sent were computers that didn't work very well. They had the motherboards had capacitor problems, hard disk was broken, power supplies were broken, we had issues. So we tried to combine to get things working, and we had some exciting moments. The monitor in there on the text on the screen says, "That caught fire." And literally that screen caught fire when we plugged it on in the classroom. So that was a little bit of excitement there. This is just some of the traffic things we have to go through. Just a traffic sign that we saw in Kenya. You know, speed limit 20 kilometers. Warthogs and Trilton have right of way. Just some of the things you need to go. So 2007 was another satellite year. Now let me just to explain something. We were using an offset dish. So if I take an offset dish, this is a satellite dish, an offset dish points like this, right? So the thing is, we were in a hotel that used to use a satellite to communicate, to get the internet access, but had changed to microwave and the dish was still there. And of course we could use that dish because it was no longer in use. The hotel, when the hotel was using the dish, they were using a satellite in the east, and that was no problem. When we were supposed to use the satellite, we got a transponder over the Panama Canal. So we would need to change the dish to look like this. Unfortunately, we could not do that because there was a roof in the way. So we could not change the dish from this to this. Now, what do? Again, this is an offset dish. So if we just do it like this and make it, then it will receive like this, but the roof will be under and we have no longer problems with the roof. So what we ended up doing is put the satellite dish upside down. Look at the text. The direct TV text is upside down. We put the satellite dish, take it off, put it up upside down. And here you see the CEO of AFRINIC doing vital engineering work. On that dish. And so this is what it looked like. And you can see, it's not a good picture of the reverse satellite, but you can see in the background the roof, and hopefully that explains why we had to put it up like this. And there was a bigger problem because the people who deal with satellite dishes, if you install a satellite dish, there's always something called peek and poke, right? Where you need to tweak the polarization. You call the operator, and they will tell you to tweak, to rotate the buck. Now, of course, that would be no problem if in the normal position, because the buck would be here. Whoops, what did I do? I did not do this. Can you put it back, please? I don't know what happened. Help? Okay, that's okay. Yep. There should always be a defect. Okay. Okay. So next one only. So in normal circumstances, the bug would be here, and you could easily, but now it would be, several meters up. You could not reach it. There was no way to get a ladder there because the dish was under. How do you get to it? So the green rope that you see is actually part of a mechanism that we contracted to twist the buck to make it work, to do the adjustment for the operator. And we actually used this connection for 3 weeks. So apart from these ad hoc things, we've also done some technology developments. So 2003 is the first year that we did IPv6 in AFNOG. We just added it. You can see the operator grade border route of IPv6 on the left, which was my laptop at that time. I'm happy to say that we have been using IPv6 on our network since 2003. We just run a dual network, never have a problem, it just works. And that's actually the way we introduce new technology. So especially the earlier years, we were donated books, and we would give books away, and books are very expensive. So a part of book like this would be an enabler for an engineer to learn more about the technology that he was getting at AFNOG. But books, well, they are heavy and they give problems with transport, so this was difficult. So later on, we decided to go to USB sticks, and of course you need to duplicate this. If you look, you can see many USB sticks, and we would use a contraption like this to duplicate USB sticks, many USB sticks at the same time. Try to duplicate 200 USB sticks. If you think that's a challenge, we know all about it. So some of the technology experiments we did actually did not work so well. So this is an example where we actually reached the front page, because in 2009, while we were setting up the network connection, we caused a network incident, and this was on the news. Just an email message saying that people who have been using Quagga at the time, they found that suddenly their Quagga would crash. And this was all over the internet. Many places, especially small ISPs, especially ISPs in Eastern Europe who would be using Quagga, found that their Quagga would crash if they would connect to the internet. And well, I actually had to send an announcement out. I will save you the technical details. It's on the screen if you're interested. But basically, we triggered a bug in software that they had never seen before, and because of that bug, Quagga would crash. And how do you make those people get updates of that software if their router keeps crashing? So that was a challenge. I must say, that weekend, I received some very interesting email from people who suddenly found their internet connection gone because of us triggering this bug. That was not very nice. So, so much for me speaking. Should I have them? No? Yeah, but you want to have a break? Are we going to have a break now? Or we can do the movie in the break? You want to do it later? Okay. So I'm just being told that the next part will be later. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but time.
That's why I do it in the break.
Okay. So, yeah, so let's give a hand of, let's clap for the NOG team. And now you know, things are not easy. My Nigerian brothers would say, things are not easy, oh. So, you know, this is serious business. But thanks a lot. Of course, over the years, all those complications have been, you know, kind of resolved. These days we use Mac Minis, you have the fiber cables, so it's much more easier to set up the infrastructure. But of course, you'll still have challenges here and there because we are running real networks. With that, I would like to just emphasize 4 things. The need for community. We're a community, so we need to continue collaborating. We need to continue working together. And I also want to emphasize the fact that if there are other interest groups that need to incubate themselves, this is where you need to basically come and join the rest of the community. But most importantly, there is need for voluntary service. We are all here as volunteers because we have a collective agenda of building the African internet, and we can only do that by, of course, building capacity and collaborating and pushing the whole community engagement idea forward. With that, I'll just thank you. And of course, I used one word, shukran, which is a Swahili word. So thank you so much. Afnog. Afnog. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noah. Okay, as we head off for break, welcome anybody who wants to add a comment to what we've had this morning. Any comment? Besides that, can I have somebody from Kenya? Alain, add a comment. No. Kenyan is after you, don't worry. You might not manage the task.
I'm from Africa.
You're from Africa.
I'm from Africa. Okay. My name is Alain Ayina. Okay, AFNOG volunteers. So I have a question then before. Gejan, you didn't tell us, there was one bit missing there. How many gigabit per second were you using during the first 5 years for the network? I mean gigabit, huh?
Minus. You can
come here.
Yeah, so I actually don't really know what we did in Cape Town, the first thing, because we were using the university network. We got some methods from the university network. The second year I know very well because, and there's another story here. We had two 64K lines, if I remember correctly, 128K in total, 2 64K lines going to the operator's telephone exchange. And in most of the cases, one of the lines would work. So it was always a challenge of getting and making calls. And the operator was actually pretty helpful. When once the technician found out what we were doing, he said, I'm going to make this work. And he actually slept at the telephone exchange all week, just to make sure that if the lines would go down, he would bring it back up. I did not have a picture of that. Then within other years, Togo was, I think, several hundred K, 512K or something like that. And in those days, this was before YouTube, so that would just work. Bandwidth has been improved. This year, we do have a gigabit. You may have seen me looking at traffic statistics. We have not peaked over 128 megabytes yet. So we definitely have much more bandwidth. But the early days, getting bandwidth, not just getting sufficient bandwidth, but getting any bandwidth at all was a challenge. And I hope that some of the pictures showed some of the challenges that we had. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so on that, let's congratulate ourselves for what we have done for the 20 years. Thank you.
Susan. Is Susan around? Okay. Thank you. Anybody else with a comment? I'll wait for Susan. I'm looking for people from Kenya. Any ladies from Kenya? Is there a comment? Please go to the mic. It's on. Is that mic on?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I'm Ivan Tunji. I think to put this on the next level, there is how we need to not dream about the internet. Ourselves, we should be internet. Then there is something that is much more than ability. This is the ability to recognize ability. Internet has made us discover that we are more capable than we always thought we were. God created the world. He did not create any wall, any door anywhere in the universe. At that point, we will understand that the only limitation that exists in life exclusively exists only in our minds than we fail to use when we fail to use the internet. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think you're a first timer, aren't you? Thank you so much for your comment. Okay, I am waiting for. Are you sure we don't have a Kenyan in the room? There's a reason I'm asking for a Kenyan in the room. We're being shy. Yeah, Mitch. Oh, yeah. I need. Yes, Kenyans, come up here. And a lady too. Yes, Michelle. You've been hiding. You're going to teach us something. Come on, Michelle. Yes. It's a happy day today. You see, in my travels, I find certain people do things differently. And Kenyans have adapted our happy birthday song differently. So you're going to teach us how to sing it in Kenya, and we're going to sing it that way. So Michelle, and you'll teach us, and then we'll all sing it the way the Kenyans do it. How do they sing it in Kenya? The happy birthday in Kenya. You're going to teach us, then we'll all follow. Yes. If you don't know how to sing, you can go back. But all right. How do they say it? So you have to teach them, then we'll sing it all at once.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Okay. There are those people who say, listen to the words and not the voice. I'm those ones. Okay, so I think after
yes, no? Then we'll follow. We'll follow
okay.
After that. You
so
just
I guess
sing
I'll
it first,
them.
then we'll sing it together.
Go. All right, shall we go? Happy birthday, dear Afnog.
Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Okay, now let's all stand up and sing it that way, clapping. And then at one point, somebody will say, happy birthday, and we'll say, to you. Okay, let's start again. Everybody, you can put the mic on as well. Okay, let's start.
And the two.
Loud.
Happy
birthday, dear Afnog. Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Afnog. Thank you. I feel like I was in church there. Can I ask Lucky Masalea to come and join us, or I call him Lucky.Africa. Lucky, yes. For a minute, I thought I was in church there.
Like that.
Yes. Thank you for teaching us that, Michelle and Wam. In the afternoon, I'm wearing it. Okay.
Okay.
We need somebody from Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Tanzania.
Oh, call for somebody.
For this, yeah.
Okay, I want somebody from Zimbabwe. Anybody from Zimbabwe in the room? Please come up. Somebody from Tanzania. Tanzania. Come, please. Njo front. Is the front? Come to the front. Njombeli. And Zambia. Somebody from Zambia. Somebody from Zambia, please come up. It's all about surprises this morning. Okay.
Oh, Tanzania? Tanzania national. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to try to show our unity. We're going to sing the same song by multiple different languages. I'm from West Africa. They are from different countries. So let's see what we do. Hey, guys, let's get close. Yeah, come. We want to sing to this guy. Yeah, I like your voice.
Yes, they want us to sing our national anthem. Now, do we stand up?
Oh, we stand up.
Yes, this is what we do in Tanzania. We must all stand up, please. Yes. Yes. So we start. Mungu ibariki Afrika. So now I'll start singing. Mungu ibariki Afrika. Wabariki viongozi wake. Hekima, umoja na amani. Mungu ibariki Afrika na watu wake. Ibariki Afrika. Ibariki Afrika, tubariki watoto wa Afrika. Mungu ibariki Tanzania, onyesha uhuru na umoja wake kwa waume na watoto. Mungu ibariki Tanzania na watu wake. Ibariki Tanzania ibariki. Tanzania tubariki. Watoto wa Tanzania. Yes. So the importance of what we have just done is, as Dr. Nee Kwena, is part of this celebration of 20 years of AFNOG. Two, it is to show the unity that we have in Africa. This song was written by Mr. Sontonge, and it was adopted across the continent, as you can see, as a national anthem. In South Africa, in Tanzania, in Ghana, in Zambia, Zimbabwe, and I think there's 2-3 other countries that sang this song. So it's important for us that we understand this song. What it means is that God bless Africa. It says, bless its people and bless all of its nations that are on the continent. And it's almost a prayer song for seeking blessing, seeking for strength as a nation. And it is very relevant. We have done this from Tunisia. The first time we did this with Dr. Nee, when we were celebrating 10 years of AFRINIC. And it is now becoming a tradition. At the next sitting, we are going to invite more of you to come and join us and adopt this as our anthem. I thank you. Thank you.
Well, sorry for keeping you so long, but I hope you enjoyed our celebration, and thank you very much.
Thank you. We are unapologetically running late. We'll just have another 15-minute break, and let's come back in very quickly. I know there's enough out there for us to very quickly get a bite. So let's be back in 15 minutes. Thank you very much. We will start promptly. Thanks.